I once saw a post on Facebook that said, imagine being bitten by a snake and instead of focusing on healing from the poison, you chase the snake to understand why it bit you and to prove that you didn't deserve it. This resonated with me tremendously because it's exactly what I would do every time I felt like somebody had wronged me. Once I realized I was focusing more on the people that hurt me and trying to figure out why they hurt me and trying to prove to them that I didn't deserve what they had done to me and that I would never do that shit to them, I was able to identify why the emotional wounds that were left behind weren't healing in a way that wouldn't leave the ugly scar of resentment behind. Resentment by the English dictionary means bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly. Keyword, bitter, meaning the feeling of hurt or anger. To simplify things, you can think of hurt and anger as little dull butter knives that are capable of reopening wounds, thus stagnating the healing journey, which causes the person to become stuck in a karmic cycle, a time loop, living the same scenario over and over, year after year, aka HE double hockey sticks. Side note, that alone solidifies for me the theory of not having to croak in order to experience hell. But anywho, back to the subject at hand. I myself prefer to heal my emotional wounds in such a way that I'm still fine as wine, with butter smooth, blemish-free skin after the process is done. Now, I know that's not completely possible, but I would like to get as close to that as I can. So I had to figure out a way to overcome the large amount of resentment that I was harboring. And it was a lot because I done been through some things, honey. The best way I could come up with to do that is to simply do what I always have done. And that's to be considerate of the circumstances of everybody in each situation that I was harboring resentment for. I had to consider that I'm not the only person that's been through some shit. I also had to take accountability that I wasn't completely innocent in every situation either. A quick example is the generational wars that plague mine and so many other people's families. I won't go too deep because I know it can be triggering to some, myself included. But when it comes to previous generations trying to stop the next generation from succeeding, I try not to look at it as they hate me or they never loved me or all the other negative things that we think once we realize that the previous generation is on some bullshit. I instead try to understand that they too have trauma that they have yet to heal. They too have been programmed with false teachings. They too have natural human emotions like jealousy, shame, guilt, etc., that they don't know how to deal with, were never taught how to deal with, and maybe, just maybe, they really didn't and don't mean any ill will. Maybe it's just hard for somebody to grasp the fact that they have been told their whole lives that the only way to be successful is to go to college and hit a clock is an absolute lie, especially nowadays. Some people just really hate to be wrong. And in their quest to not admit that they are wrong, maybe they just don't realize that they are hurting you. Pride can be extremely hard to let go of, and it can also be blinding. We are all here to learn lessons and to get past the obstacles that are set up to stop people from ascending to their absolute highest selves. Everybody won't make it in this lifetime. And although that's sad, it's okay. It really gets easier to be empathetic once you realize that. It gets even easier to be empathetic once you really get into your family's lore. So when you're doing your own shadow work, sometimes you have to go a little bit deeper and go on into your family's shadow as well. Diving deep into the family's backstory will help you to understand their actions just a little bit better, which kind of makes that Facebook post at the beginning of the video a catch-22 for me. Once I realized that my parents and grandparents and great-grandparents went through some of the same things and even worse things as me, it helped me to let go of some of the resentment and owning up to the fact that I was a mischievous ass child, honey, and a teenager. I was something else. That also helped me to let go of the resentment a little bit more. It helped me to start the process of forgiveness. Forgiveness for them and forgiveness for myself too. Now, will I ever fuck with them again? Probably not. But it's still all love. Until next time.